All right, so we're going to look. Yesterday you got to spend some time out in a kind of a grassland. It's not quite a prairie yet. We will be planting prairie seeds in the fall. But this is a prairie out in Sugarland, near Sugarland. It's called Nash Prairie. And this is what we want our prairie to look like. You can see the tree line off in the distance, although thousands of years ago, these trees would not have been there. It would have been all grasses. And that's kind of what we want to talk about today. And that is that these amazing grasslands, and you learned yesterday about the things they do for us for free, that we don't have to do for ourselves, like make oxygen, provide a home for pollinators, clean our air and water, and they're dwindling away. And so we want to look at how we can protect these very important ecosystems. Now, if you look at this picture, what does this cow know that we don't know? Why is it walking toward the burned patch? We're going to see why in just a minute. Now, the Great Plains grasslands go all the way from southern Texas. So this area is where we are. And this is also, this coastal area is part of the Great Plains. This is the coastal prairies. And they are part of this big mass of grasslands. And these ecosystems go all the way from South Texas all the way up into Canada. And they're the heart of our rangeland area. So a lot of grasslands are used for meat production, for agriculture. And little by little, we're losing our native grassland areas. And this is going to be a problem because grassland or rangeland health is not only important because of the ecosystem services they provide, but also for the people that depend on them to make money, to make a living. Let's look at these two pictures. So this is the same picture of the same prairie. On A, this was an A and B, the time difference was about 20 years. A was about 20 years ago, and B was a more recent picture. What's different? In picture A, you see lots of grass, far as the eye can see. And this is what a normal prairie would have looked like thousands of years ago. Picture B is what this area looks like now. This is called woody or tree encroachment. We're going to call it woody encroachment. These trees are growing in the places where only grass once stood. You guys know about this. You studied this in your biology class. This is called succession. We start with our small plants, our grasses, and then over time, hundreds of years in fact, it will move to tree plants, to larger tree species. Prairies are no different. But why then do they sit in this area for the most part, for thousands of years? And what's causing this woody encroachment to occur? Well, it used to be thousands and thousands of years ago, there were things called disturbances that kept the tree population down. Different species of animals ate the small trees, and fire raged through the prairies over and over and over in these periodic fires that were good. And it kept those tree species down, and the grasses flourished. So, what's happening now? Well, we're not letting fire happen. We're putting it out whenever we see it. And we're taking away the normal species that feed on these plants and replacing it only with cattle. Cows only eat grass. And so because of that, we're getting this rapid acceleration of woody plant encroachment, or this successional process. So, why do we care? While trees are good, forests are good, why do we worry about woody plant encroachment? Well, if you were a cow and you had to find food, would you rather find grass on plot A or plot B? For most ranchers, they're going to be able to put more heads of cattle on an acre in plot A than plot B. And that means they're going to make more money. So this woody plant encroachment that's happening all over the state of Texas and up through the Great Plains is costing them money. And if you look at these two maps in 1990, you can see we have, remember, East Texas is got a lot of the piney woods forests and things like that. And then if you go to 2020, you can see the red parts are becoming larger and larger. In fact, the central part of Texas, which is filled with prairie, is now being overrun with these woody plants. Now, we said before that there were things that happened on prairies that kept the woody plants down. These things are called disturbances. It's kind of interesting. Disturbance does lots of things. For one thing, it makes ecosystems really healthy. Just think about yourself as an athlete, someone that likes to build strong muscles. If you want to do that, what are you going to do? You're going to go to the gym and you're going to lift weights and you're going to put resistance on those muscles. And as the muscle grows, it becomes stronger. Did you know that plants are the same way? Natural disturbances like having to fight through a drought or maybe fire and blizzards and freezing and all of these natural things that happen. When plants, these prairie plants grow up in this environment, it makes them stronger. In fact, if you try to grow native prairie plants indoors, they usually will die. They need that strong, those resistant forces to have them grow healthy. So natural disturbance is really important. Now, the thing is, we don't want too much. We don't want too little. It's just like a workout. You work out too hard and you're going to hurt yourself. If you don't work out enough, it's not going to do any good. This is called the intermediate disturbance hypothesis. Not too much and not too little, just right, and you'll have a strong, more resilient ecosystem. So what are some of the natural disturbances for prairies in particular? Fire is one. Fire does a couple of things. It will kill off the dead forage. So you can see this grass is here. A lot of it looked dead. You can see some little plants trying to come through, but those little species aren't going to be able to photosynthesize very easily if they're under all this cover. So the fire comes along and it burns all this dead foliage. It allows photosynthesis to hit the ground so that green plants can grow, new species can grow. And it also warms up the soil so that the soil microbes flourish. It also takes care of those woody plants. The trees don't do as well. The large trees do pretty good, but the smaller trees and all those shrubbery, they are not made for fire very well, and it will clear those out and provide more space for grasses. Another disturbance that prairies have are just the animals that eat there. So that used to be, we had tons of bison and deer and pronghorn sheep. Bison like to eat grass. Deer, these are called browsers. They love to eat tree saplings and the leaves off trees. They'll strip them off. And then the sheep do a little bit of both. So the combination of the fire and these grazing species kept the prairie devoid of woody encroachment and expansive grassy areas. So what can ranchers do? Well, one, we can mimic grazing. Cows eat grass. That's much like the bison. Goats are very much like deer, and they will eat trees. Well, they'll eat anything. They even eat poison ivy. I saw them do it. It's very interesting. They strip those small trees. They will climb up the tree if they have to get those leaves. They will kill those baby tree plants. And then again, sheep do a little bit of both. So as if I owned a ranch and I was seeing woody plant encroachment, I might like to have all of these animals grazing on my land, just like it were thousands of years ago. Another thing I can do are what are called prescribed burns. I can actually burn the prairie, these controlled burns, and by doing that, I burn off all the foliage, and the small trees will also burn away. Some of the larger trees will remain, but the smaller ones will be burned off. So what does this cow know that we don't know? That cow knows that when this burn patch, in about a few days, there's going to be good food there. And so it is waiting for the good food to come from that fire. You can also use mechanical disturbance to clear foliage or vegetation as well. We want our grassland to look like the left, not the right. So that's where you come in. We're going to play a game called Prairie Protector. You're going to go to prairieprotector.com, so let's do that right now. And you're going to learn how to clear a prairie. Now, when you go to prairieprotector.com, you're going to come to this site. And there's this is the portal to the game. The object of the game is to clear your land of woody encroachment. We're not going to use multi-species grazing, but we are going to use fire, chainsaws, axes, and bulldozers. Now, you must do the tutorial. The tutorial tells you all about the rules. It tells you how to use the equipment, when to use fire, when to use axes, when to use bulldozers, all of that. And so you need to follow that closely. Make sure you do the tutorial, and then it will take you through all this. I'm going to kind of click through it. It will show you how to the trees replicate, because if you don't go fast enough and you don't do it right, the trees are just going to reproduce and they're going to cover your land. Okay. Once you do that, then you're going to learn how to use equipment. So you're going to start to learn how to take a field that is covered with woody plants and use a combination of fire, axes, chainsaws, and bulldozers to clear it. Okay? And it's going to show you how to do it. It's going to cost you money, so watch your coins. That's going to be a limiting factor. You're not, the coins aren't endless, so you're going to have to watch that as well. And as the better you do at this, the more money you're going to make. Stars, and that's represented by stars. Once you finish the tutorial, you can go to a level and you can select what you want to do. Now, this spread demo just kind of shows you how the trees spread, so you can kind of get a feel for that. Once you've looked at that, you can go to escalation or dense woods. You can go here. I'm going to go here. Sorry about that. I'm going to go to escalation. I'm going to hit start, and then you can do that. This is one mode of the game. You can also do a custom game. I haven't done too much with this, but I'd be curious to see what you all find. There is an AI player that you can use that you can play against. So it's like competing ranchers, vying for the same space. See how you do with that as well. That might be an additional challenge. So the object of the game is for you to earn stars, and you earn stars by clearing your land. So if you can earn at least 3 stars or on your land, and you can even do it in drought mode, because you can imagine how hard that is, because that's going to limit the amount of fire you can use, you'll even score higher. So have fun being a prairie protector, and let's see who can win this game.